Jean, welcome back. I know that you have just come back from an epic journey to Egypt. And I know it felt so familiar, and we're so excited to have you share so much of your insights of where you went and how it was really like coming home to Egypt.
Well, Barrett, it's my pleasure to be with you today to really share my experience on this really transformational journey. So I'm just delighted to share.
I mean, it's so incredible. Most of us never got to Egypt. I mean, that's not one place that most people visit. And yet it has such a lure. It has such, they're steeped in ancient wisdom and meaning. And I know for some of the things I was feeling too, that you truly had a past life there. So you wanted to share like where did you, how long were you there for? Where did you go? Or some of the things that you were feeling being there? Because I definitely was receiving that not only you were had a past life there, but you were a priestess in that in another lifetime, like 4,000 years ago or something like that.
Yes. And Barrett, thank you so much for sharing that insight because I was informed of that while I was on my journey in Egypt,
Mhm.
in Egypt. So for you to, validate that is so profound because I really had a past life connection with the place, the land, and the people that was so enriching and comforting. And I like to just open up, if I will, with the profound quote by Rumi. And Rumi says that travel brings back brings power and love back into your life. And for me, it opened me to a profound awareness of myself. It opened my heart to, in terms of a feeling of self-discovery, and traveling really connects you to humanity and the collective. And
Mhm.
it opens up possibilities with great joy, curiosity, and childlike wonder, which I experienced. And before we get started, I'd just like to acknowledge Judy Satori and Samita Nanjiani and 21 other people who joined us from around the world to share this journey. And we all had a past life connection and agreed to come back to serve at that time.
Mhm. And how did you feel that? Like, what was it that made you feel that connection with people that you, maybe some, Judy, you might have known beforehand, but others that you were meeting there that you didn't know, right?
Well, there was a familiarity with us. All of the people had special gifts and talents and insights and wisdom, and it was a healing journey. We all just had a connection to the land and a connection to each other. And we were informed that I think over 1,000 years ago, that we agreed to come back to that place for healing of ourselves and for, healing of humanity. So a lot of our work was really about self-healing, to
Hmm.
open ourselves up to uh, sharing our gifts and talents for authentic self-expression, for facing our own challenges, which we all did during the course of our journey, facing fears and challenges and assisting each other manage that.
Hmm.
So it was a profound experience in terms of how we all just uh, harmoniously join together to really help each other and raise our own vibration to share our own gifts with more authentic self-expression.
So interesting because we are all on our own journey, right? So it's each of you on your own soul journey where you have crossed paths with each other in past lives and then rendezvoused in, May, late April, May of 2024 I love that, a healing. And it's really a collaboration of us coming together, and it's an interesting and it's such a sacred place. I mean, Egypt is known as the throat chakra of the world, of Earth. And it's interesting, again, that coming together, like you're sharing about healing and about working collectively for humanity.
And Barrett, I regard this trip as truly coming home
Mm.
truly coming home to myself. It was a journey of self-discovery, a journey of awareness, a journey of connection to the land and the people. And before I actually embarked on the journey, I had a dream. And others who joined us on the journey had a similar dream. It's like
Wow.
everything that I needed to heal, people, situations came up, just came up. And I remember waking up the next morning, I'm like, what was that all about? It was like, a flash of everything. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's coming up for a reason. And it's like everything was coming up to be made aware, to heal, to come to the surface, to expand, to go to Egypt, and to release and leave it there, to
Mhm.
be renewed and I guess, for lack of a better word, reborn again, and to turn a new page in a new chapter of my life.
I remember you sharing that. It was right after the solar eclipse, which is so powerful. I mean, we've all experienced the solar eclipse, particularly in the United States, and that really had a clearing, that the old patterns, the old things that needed to be released and cleared, and how perfectly it was done and intentionally and divinely guided, that it was done to clear you before you went to Egypt. I mean, again, the timing is really amazing how things, even if we're not conscious of it, that things are put in place, and there's a reason behind it all. And to be able to have that cleared before you are going there, to open yourself even further and more deeply to what your own soul purpose is across lifetimes.
Indeed. And I must share that, of course, as you indicated, Egypt is the power center for the throat chakra. And I think the Great Pyramid of Giza
Mhm.
is one of the most sacred places in the world. And it's really high vibrational energy for the throat chakra. And what I experienced during the course of my travels, we visited a plethora of sacred places, temples, pyramids, sphinx, just all over the Garden of Mary. We were just standing on holy ground. And I think for me, I felt, well, I opened my senses up to feel the vibrational energy, because everywhere we went, there was high powered vibrational energy. And there was healing in those places
Mhm.
because we were in
Mhm.
that high vibration. And so we spent a lot of quiet time and sacred time at each site. We had a fantastic guide, Susie, who shared with us, when we would visit the temples. She'd give us the history. We tour and see the hieroglyphics, which is really the Egyptian storytelling that was
Mhm.
fascinating. But then we were allowed special time to walk around the temples and feel into the energy and see, and of course I would get chills, and, people have, visions and all of that. So it was really, a sacred experience that I guess I had never experienced before, in terms of really having that connection to that really high vibrational energy. And it was the healing. And
Mhm.
I must share that the throat chakra, the relevance for me in terms of the throat chakra is very powerful, because uh, the throat chakra uh, governs authentic self-expression and speaking your truth.
Right.
And for me, of course, in my writing, my teaching, my radio show, it's all about speaking and teaching and using the throat chakra. So I felt a real special connection with that in terms of healing and release from fear, because we all hold fear.
Mhm.
And, you know, uh, for me, it was more of a releasing of any fear that I had with authentic self-expression. And it
Mhm.
was amazing. We had an opportunity to visit Sheikh Abdullah's essential oil establishment, and he reads auras, and of course they make a lot of the essential oils. And I asked him a question. I said, "What oil would be more relevant for me?" And he said, "Amber cashmere." And it has a lot to do with, the power of love to speak your truth. And I was like, my goodness, that's so on point. So I brought back some amber cashmere essential oil
Oh,
to.
it sounds beautiful.
Mhm.
I think it is truly like speaking our truth. And it sounds like for you, like again, that this has been it feels like a thread across your lifetimes. You know, we're eternal souls, as we both know. We've been here before, we'll come, come again, and we've been in different lifetimes, different, men, women, all, colors, all different positions in life, and different experiences that we draw to our soul for our own soul lesson. But I feel like that sense of empowering others, empowering yourself and others to speak their truth is like this beautiful thread that's woven through your lifetimes. And that again, the power of the pyramids, the power of that sacred geometry, the power of the ancient wisdom, and knowing that you felt so much, you felt that vibration, that felt there's the familiarity without necessarily knowing necessarily all the details. But I do feel again that in that lifetime that you were like a high ranking priestess, that you were a leader, that you were speaking and communicating, and um, that you were a beacon, in that lifetime. You were a light in that lifetime.
Well, I thank you for sharing that because it validates what I think Judy Satori, when she would have individual sessions with us, she mentioned that about me. She said you were a high priestess in your, in this lifetime, and so actually, I guess speaking my truth, and of course, over time, you know yourself, for me, my voice was dumbed down for
Mhm.
years because I was more of a people pleaser and, trying to be agreeable. And so I had to come to terms with, accepting me for who I truly am. I'm worthy to share my voice. And really it just kind of elevates me to a different level. And I say that with humility, to authentically speak my truth without fear. So again, I am still processing the magnitude and depth of this magnificent journey. And I think that more of my gifts and talents will come forth, but I feel less fearful and more lighter now after
Mhm.
I returned. I feel more calm. I feel uh, I'm not really into a lot of external distractions.
Mhm.
And of
Mhm.
course, I know very early after the journey, it's like I wanted to be quiet within myself to
Mhm.
really comprehend and keep the energy, hold on to that energy that I really collected and felt.
Yeah, I feel you very much, really intimately connected to the power source. That throat chakra is incredible power source, and that you were literally in its shadow. You were literally on the ground with that space. We can get there in our mind and so forth, but to be there, it's like you're walking sacred ground. You're walking a past life where you were somewhere. In that past life, you're back in that literal geography, if you will, and feeling it so strongly. It just resonates with you, that power source, that all things kind of, I'm hearing things kind of fall away, the things that really don't matter, the noise, and there's a clarity that comes through connecting with that. And again, when we, again, our past lives are so interesting. They share so much on the other side about focusing on this. I mean, we're here to focus on this life. We're not to be so focused on, reading past chapters, if you will. However, when something is like so strongly resonates, that comes clearly, there's a there. And it's really to kind of delve in and ask yourself, why am I feeling so connected to this place or this person or this idea? What is it that's resonating with me? Because there's something to glean that you pull from the past that has relevance in the present. And again, our past lives were eternal spirits. There's a thread that winds its way through. And it's interesting you're sharing about the giving voice, and that you felt like that your voice was contained or limited or suppressed, or, and it reminds me again how we, all of us, all of you out there, you each come into this lifetime, you've planned it, there's a blueprint of what you're hoping, the soul lessons, right, that you're hoping to accomplish or to experience in order to know yourself more fully. And you come, but you don't remember when you get here. You sign up for this thing, and then you come here and you don't even remember. But it's all in that journey. It's all in the lessons. It's all the experience. And I feel for you, Jean, that you are again unearthing yourself. It's almost this beautiful blossom that's opened up. We each have to find it again, and that is again affirming for yourself of who you truly are, that you are light, that you are truth, that you are giving voice so beautifully. And it's the journey that we each are incarnating into a being in order to draw to us these experiences, in order for us to remember. It's not like we're really discovering, it's always been in us, but we're remembering the truth of who we are.
So true. And for me, it was like putting together the pieces, because I think our past lives, we resonate with places, we resonate with certain activities. And for me, the writing, the teaching, the speaking, and of course, in my earlier years, it was more academic, spending time in higher education. But, as a result of my stay in Malaysia, my writing and my whole essence of life was really more about love and learning more about love. So these pieces of our past, resonate, and we connect it in terms of who we really are. And really, it's all about love and being able to speak our truth and have the courage, release the fear to express our gifts and talents. And really, Berit, to heal ourselves. And as we heal ourselves, you talk a lot about this in Soul Talk. When we heal ourselves, when we shine our light, we help others.
Right.
And you've always spoke to the fact that sometimes we don't know the impact of that. But I think for us, we just have to do our part in being who we are, anchoring in the vibration of love, and sharing our gifts and talents to expand and improve humanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, so true. What we do for another, what we do for another, we do for ourselves, and vice versa, because we're all connected. We're all a piece of the whole. Is there any, I'm just curious, like, thank you for all you just shared, but is there an example that you can share where you specifically kind of felt like that you knew that it felt familiar? Like, was there an instance or a,
Yes, most certainly. First of all, I felt a tremendous connection to the land and the people, and I
mm,
was embraced by the people.
mm,
Everywhere I went, I was embraced.
mm,
And that was very comforting for me. I felt at home. Anytime you're in another country, a lot of times you don't know how you're going to be perceived or whatever, but it was just an automatic embracing. And
mm,
as I met the people there, I always gave them honor and homage, and and they in turn, returned that to me. So I just felt, just a comforting feeling and a connection
mm,
to the land and the people. Like I've been here before, and
mhm,
I didn't have any fear, about the people or where I was or whatever. I just integrated into the culture, the environment, or in terms of the ancient sites that we visited, from Cairo to uh, Aswan to Luxor. It was the same kind of embracing feeling. So
mm,
I felt very comfortable there. And I like to share that one aspect of this journey was a resurrection of the divine feminine.
mm,
And we talked about this a lot. The divine feminine is the feminine aspect of divine power that connects and binds the earth. And the goddess energy that exists with all of us. We all have that divine feminine energy that awakens our intuition. It's about emotional release and also creativity. And we know now more so than ever, with all the issues and problems in the world, that the divine feminine is being resurrected for healing.
Mm-hmm.
And many ancient cultures had a divine feminine concept, and the Egyptians revered the mother goddess Isis. And Isis was the essence of femininity and the goddess of love, healing, fertility, the goddess of good fortune. She was the protector of women. So we connected a lot to the goddess of Isis. And, of course, the Egyptians honored and revered many gods and goddesses that we became knowledgeable about, that I'm going to do more research and study on to learn more about. But the goddess of Isis was really, powerful in terms of that divine energy. And she was really kind of with us on that journey, throughout that whole journey. We felt her presence, and places that we would go, it's like we could feel the vibrational energy of Isis.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I think you're so beautiful what you're just spoke to, because there is the divine feminine energy is rising. Beth and I channeled several years ago a letter from the divine feminine. And it spoke to, again, what is the divine feminine? Like you said, it's in all of us. We have a masculine energy and we have feminine energy, but the feminine is really against shining on the creativity, collaboration, compassion, all of those qualities. And that is really rising up to lift our world, and that we're coming together. We've, as you spoke to, yes, there's so many challenges going on in our world, and it's something that we have to work together, are all connected together. It's that awareness and awakening that we are one. So we have to work together in a collaborative, honoring, respectful way, that we know that we can't go it alone. We can't be individuals. And again, it's the doing it with love, doing it with the highest. And this divine feminine energy is, again, breaking these old patterns, these old structures, these old belief systems that no longer fit this new world that is rising. We are ascending, and we're seeing a lot of disruption, and it's breaking apart, so that these things can be lifted and they can be released, and a new world that is one of honor and respect and gratitude, and is coming forward.
And I think with the goddess Isis, it was really about, for us to heal ourselves and be open to authentic self-expression,
Mm-hmm.
to, release any fear
Mm-hmm.
about sharing and, speaking our truth. So that was really relevant. And I must share that I had a mystical experience, well, a couple of mystical experiences. And I received, I always receive feathers and coins. And I received two white feathers, one after we had a sacred meditation, and
Mm-hmm.
one after, visiting the Sphinx and all that. So, I really, honor that, because the feathers appeared right, after those experiences. So I was really grateful for that. And, we took, of course, a plethora of photos, and I think I shared with you, two photos where there were beams of light coming over my, the crown of my head, rays of light. And we were
Yes.
told that sometimes after we take different pictures, while we're at the pyramids or temples or whatever, to look back on those photos, because sometimes people see lights and, balls of light over them. So I was really, I felt deep gratitude to just go back and, look at those photos. And one was sent to me and said, gosh, look at this ray of light. So that was, I'm truly, just humbled by that.
Yeah, amazing and remarkable. And again, you're reminding me actually of of paintings, of where you can see this halo of light. You think of some of the European painters, but it's capturing that it's capturing the light, is capturing energy. And think of light and the highest vibration and the highest. And yes, it's amazing. And it's literally over your head, which I was again getting that there's a that's shining the light. That again, that leadership in a speaking, giving power to the voice. And again, what you just shared about each person, really, when we can each be our own truth, it allows others to be their truth. When we speak our truth and we honor all of us, of all that we are, it allows others to breathe and to truly be their truth. And this is again where we're heading as a humanity, that we need each of us. All of us are here for such a purpose. We wouldn't be here on this earth without that. And we're all loved beyond measure. We're all worthy, but to show up as our authentic self and to give honor to ourself. When we honor ourselves, which we have to do first, we're able to also honor others and vice versa.
Yes. And speaking of the divine feminine, we had an opportunity to spend time at the Materea Garden, which is the sacred garden of Mary.
Oh.
And this is where Mary and Joseph, they are said to have rested with the baby Jesus. And so to be there, we, saw her sacred sycamore tree, and to be in that space, to feel that energy and to ground ourselves on that land was just absolutely amazing. And we had a chance to go to the Coptic church where years ago, Mary's, what was it? Her vision was seen on this church, for many, many weeks. And
Mhm.
so we visited the church, and they had, we saw a video of, that whole experience. And, they really paid homage to Mary, and to know that we were in a space where her vision really appeared on that church was really just so amazing. So it was standing on holy ground. And I think at all the temples and uh, uh, the pyramids, wherever we travel, is like such familiarity and being honored and humbled to actually be standing on sacred ground.
What I'm hearing is that they're sharing. Jean and I, whenever we talk, we always have a room full on both our sides of people, of energies and spirits and angels, and people just show up, right? And then they talk in our ears, and Jean and I share. But what I'm hearing is that they're reminding me that although this is ancient, and we're talking about biblical, and we can all kind of project, okay, that was then, this is now. That's what I'm hearing, one thing. That was then, but it's not. It's relative today. That energy is living energy. It's living light. And to tap into that, and we can do it anywhere at any time. We don't have to necessarily be in Egypt, which is beautiful to feel that, but to know that just in thinking that is alive, it's accessible, it's for each of us. We don't have to go through anybody to receive that feeling of that light and love, but that it is so relevant, and it is so present. And yes, we're living in 2024, we're in a different time period, but it is as powerful and poignant and palpable now as it was then. And even more people are really awake to knowing that there is energy, there's unseen energies, that we are connected to this universal flow of love, and that we each are a piece of that, and we are each have a purpose for that.
As it said, everything is happening at the same time. So as you mentioned so eloquently, even though we look at, past or ancient times, it's still part of who we are today. And
Mm-hmm.
you really can't separate it out because the energy is still there, and we can tap into it
Mm-hmm.
just feeling into it. It's like everywhere we went, I always tried to feel into the energy, feel into the place, touch the stones, touch every aspect of where I was to just feel into that energy and to remember, and to hold that energy within myself.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel lighter when you were there? Did you feel
I felt, wow, what
like
can I
you're
say?
almost like out of body almost? Or,
Yes, it really was. It was like a lightness. My intention was to be present during
mm-hmm.
my journey at
Mm-hmm.
every aspect, every temple, every site was
Mm-hmm.
to be fully present and not distracted by anything. So I devoted my full energy, my time, my feelings. I opened my senses, the sight, touch, smell, sounds. It's like I was totally open to embrace
Immersed in it.
whole experience, because I wanted to really feel that energy. And again, we had a tour guide, but we also had the opportunity to spend personal time. It's like we could select areas of the temple or wherever that we felt a more connection to, and to spend time there and sit there in the energy. And then we really shared what we felt, as a group, what we picked up on. So it was really a
Yeah, what were
profound.
some of the other comments from the others when, I mean, because each of you are picking up different
Yes,
pieces.
yes,
Some of the other,
it was amazing because uh, the people who joined us on our journey, they had a tremendous gifts and talents. Some could see visions, and they
mm,
would tell me the visions that they saw.
mm,
Even my endearing roommate, she would wake up the next morning. She said, "Gosh, our room was just full of light." Or
mm,
she said, "I saw your grandmother at your feet," and she would just, and people felt free. It was a freedom because people just shared. They
right.
just shared. They were open. They weren't restrained because, in everyday life, people think you're kind of, if you kind of start talking about visions or whatever, but in that environment, everybody was open to just speaking their truth and sharing what they saw. And if they, picked up on an energy presence with you, they would share it with you. And that made us feel so connected and to really speak our truth. So
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of visions and, things that people shared or the attention that was given or whatever. So it was, really an educational experience and a spiritual experience for me to see the tremendous gifts and talents like yourself as a medium, a channel. You communicate with all that is, and to be around people with that same kind of energy and gifts and talents was really profound. So we really kind of collectively joined and shared what we really saw or felt
Mm-hmm.
during the course of our journeys. If we traveled to a place and, got on the bus and or whatever, we really start talking about, what we experienced, or even at the temples or whatever, some would say, "Gosh, go over there. I feel a lot of energy over there." So we would go there and just stand or lay our hands on the rocks or whatever and see what we felt. And a lot of times I would just get these chills and vibrations going through my body.
Mm. You're reminding me of beautiful everything you shared. You're reminding me again that, we spoke about how we're all one here, but we're really one with those on the other side in the higher realms. I mean, we're all a piece of it whole, wherever we may be, so to speak. And it is this collaboration across the realms, and to connect with that universal energy, and connect with that inspiration, and connect with and the wisdom that is coming through. Again, we're connecting with the highest. There's different thoughts, but to focus on what is the highest. Ask for what is the highest thought, what is the highest inspiration, what am I to know, and to let that flow through. Which again, it merges with our human energy. Our human incarnate soul energy, to know kind of how we are to move forward, and it expands us. And then the other thing I was hearing from you is almost like, I was when you were talking, I was almost like I'm seeing all these lights go on in all the cells in your body. It's almost like little lights popping up of awakening, which is so wondrous and it's so amazing and magical because that opens up even more gifts. It more knowing. We go even deeper into this majesty of creation, this majesty of all that we are together.
And you do such eloquent and graceful work in sharing your talents and the soul talk experience, and you have such profound gifts and insight and wisdom, and to be around a plethora of people who we're all in one spot and speaking our truth and sharing visions or thoughts. And what we experience, this is what was challenging, is that fears that we face came forth for us to face.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for myself, uh, I had to face some fears. In conversations, things would come up, and I was like, gosh, that's about me, and I would be surprised because it was like, okay, that came up because I need to heal that part of me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting that through conversations or whatever, we would get messages for each other in profound ways, and I'm like, okay, that's for me. I need to heal that.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal was to I think my intention was to uh, go to Egypt to uh, release what no longer serves me. And when I was on the plane traveling to Egypt, and I had the book by Paul Selig that I've read before,
Oh.
and I brought it with me, and it was the book of love and creation. And I said, okay, Spirit, I'm going to open this book, and I want you to tell me, why am I going here? And the chapter opened to release.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so appropriate. And I'm like, yes, to release and face my fear. So I had to face some things that I thought I had resolved, but I had not.
Mm-hmm.
And it has given me a profound sense of freedom to lay it down, and to face it. But it wasn't a pretty picture, in terms of facing it. And a lot of us had to face things and face the fears, but we were open to sharing and talking about
Mm-hmm.
it,
Yeah,
for
very,
healing.
a very like a very supportive and safe community in a high vibration. So you're already supported, and we're always supported. We just know that we are. Even if we trust that we're all safe and supported always. And it allows us to confront fears, right? And they say unless a tiger's chasing but so many, if we really look at the broad scope of our fears and so forth, so many are say that they're just an illusion. But to be able to face that, because those do drain us, they
Yes,
limit us,
yes.
they try to take away really our voice and our truth, and they're not real. I know we've connected with so many people on the other side that one woman who was in her 90s who lived most of her life in fear, and then she got to the other side and said, oh my gosh, all these things that kept me, blocked me, and that kept limited me, and that I self-imposed limits on myself because of these fear, they never came true. Don't pin these fears on yourself. There's nothing, was it Roosevelt, or there's nothing to fear but fear itself, right? So it's again, but to confront them, because those are the things that we can lay down, we can surrender to the universe, that we do not need, and it does lighten our load, it lifts us, and we know the truth, and we carry on in a more expanded way of knowingness, by releasing those.
And Berit, I think that, for example, you have a very supportive network. And for those who join you, feel very comfortable sharing their gifts and talents or their fears very authentically. That's been my experience being a part of Soul Talk. And how often do we have the kind of environment of
Mhm.
supportive people where we can just be ourselves and express our fears or our thoughts, or if you pick up something about a person, you'll share it with them for their own healing. And of course, I experienced that with you and with the Soul Talk group. But to be with, Judy and, 21 other people and Samita, where we're all trying to heal, learn, grow, feel, it was really a
So
profound experience.
freeing, so freeing.
Freeing, right.
Fabulous. Freeing and fabulous, I'm hearing. But yes, I think that again, it's in you, it's a when we can do that, when we can release, then we can really say, like, who am I? From a soul level, really our whole point of being in a soul in a body is to draw to us experiences for our own soul lesson. And what is our soul seeking? But to know itself more fully and to expand and to express and to really move from, in enduring life and all the circumstances to really engaging with life. How are we engaging with life? How are we seeking to be all that we are? Who are we thinking that we are? What is the highest expression of who we are? And to move into that through experiences and expressions.
And having the courage to speak our truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many of us are in a box, listeners out there, you may feel like you're boxed in because of expectations of others, or you're trying to fit an image or whatever, but, to be free, to be free and light and speak your truth, because life is short, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever your passion, your purpose, your gifts are, I would share with your listeners out there, release the fear, because the opposite of fear is love. Anchor in the power of love. Be free. And we came here to serve a purpose, right? And be free to do that, whatever you're doing, whether you're a teacher or, a grocery store worker or whatever you do, do it in the power of love. And you never know how you're affecting people and touching people in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes a difference for us. When we give or honor people, we're doing it for ourselves. When we're compassionate with ourselves, we can be more compassionate with others.
Mm-hmm.
When we are more free within ourselves, others feel free to connect with us. And to me, there's no more sacred feeling than to anchor in the power of love and to really speak your truth and honor yourself and others as well in the process. And I'd like to share one more thing, not one more because we're in an engaging conversation, but I wanted to share my experience on a cruise along the Nile River, which was really fascinating. We spent a 4-day cruise along in the Royal Lily on the Nile, and I had an opportunity to go on a sailboat ride on the Nile, which was one on my bucket list. But anyway, we know that the Nile has so many biblical references, because Moses, he was found in the Nile River and adopted by the Pharaoh's family. So many ancient biblical references in terms of what the Nile stands for. And the Nile is considered like the river of life, the producer of life. And the Nile, Egypt is the country of the Nile. And so I did have an opportunity, just to journal, during our time there. Of course, we were traveling a lot, but particularly on the cruise gave us quiet time to really journal. And as I was journaling and looking up on the Nile and, watching the waves and the flow of the river, it was just so invigorating and refreshing. And I set my intention as I was looking over the ship into the water, which I did regularly, watching the waves float by. It was like, I release anything that no longer serves me. And I will leave this in Egypt, bring forth everything that's not right or good for me so that I can let it go, release it, leave it here in the Nile to expand, to grow, to be free and open, to live and to love and to know who I truly am. So
Mm.
that experience was really profound, just to be on the Nile, floating and journaling and releasing and expanding. And of course, I'm not quite there yet because I'm still processing the magnitude and depth of the journey, but I do feel lighter and freer. And of course, as time unfolds, I'm sure that I will learn more and more wisdom will come forth for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm truly honored, to have had the opportunity to visit a place that I was really familiar with and felt really embraced by the people and a familiarity with the land and the culture, rich and vibrant culture that I'm just grateful to have had the opportunity to visit.
So beautiful. It's you're coming home to Egypt is like coming full circle. And I'm feeling like you, yes, you came back across lifetimes to come to this point where you are releasing and letting go of old patterns, and not just for yourself, but really for humanity. Um, and laying it down for it to be taken, like the universe will take that and we can surrender it and the universe will take it away. But also the circle will, again, this beautiful circle coming full circle, but with this new beginning in a new way. And it's it feels again an opening. It feels a breath of hope for our world and for healing and coming into really a new earth. That's why I'm feeling it. So and this beautiful team of 21 that of your group gathering each with their own gifts, each sharing this truly epic journey home for each of them to rendezvous, to have this reconnection and this renewed spirit that they each will go back to their individual, homes, and take that and seed it for what is to come. So beautiful from a personal journey that you're sharing, but also for an honoring of all that is, and to renew that connection for all that can be.
And Barrett, one of the things that was a significant part of the journey was paying homage and healing for Mother Earth.
Mhm.
So we had grounding experiences and energetic transmissions to ground with the earth and help earth heal, because we know the issues that we're facing now, because we're all part of the same, right? And no matter where we are, whether we're in the States or Egypt or Asia, or wherever, whatever happens in one part of the world, others are affected by it. So there is this essence of collective humanity, and that we're residences on the same planet, and we have to join together to heal ourselves, heal the planet, heal each other. But one of the things that's so very important is healing ourselves,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
healing ourselves with the power of love,
Mhm.
and healing ourselves so that we can be that authentic, true expression of our divine self that
Mhm.
we all are. So self-healing to me and self-love and self-care is at the forefront, because as I am more loving to myself, as I care for myself, as I heal myself, I can be a gift to others.
Mhm.
And that's not that's, I say that with humility, but it's really about putting my energy on being the highest vibration that
Mhm.
I can be. And that takes moment by moment
Yeah, for all of
awareness
us.
and understanding, yes, because you can slip back. But what happens with me is that when I have those moments of slippage, then I think about that feeling of love, or
Mhm.
go back to that experience where I felt so much love or whatever. And that kind of gives me that reinvigorating energy to move forward and
Mhm.
continue forward on my journey to anchor in the power of love.
Yeah, you're reminding me of, I think Matt Kahn says this, but what would love do? In each instance, and to give ourselves love. You're so right. It's not a selfish thing. We first need to give ourselves love. If we're not filled, it's hard to give to others. It's always like they, use the analogy on the airplane, put your oxygen mask on first before you help another. So we need to fill ourselves first with that oxygen, which is the love, and be our truth, which we are love. We're nothing less than. We are each lovable and we are love. And to first do that before we can do another. I'm curious, were you part of an ascension group?
Yes,
That is incredible.
absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
that is incredible because I've just been part and working from Tucson, but with an ascension group that was just at Mount Shasta this past week doing a healing and Mount Shasta, as you know, is the root chakra
Yes.
of the earth. And you were doing similar, each of you bringing your gifts to heal our earth, our Mother Earth, and to help heal humanity for our new earth that is been birthed and that is it is here. And what is it that we are clearing that is old patterns that go back to ancient civilizations before even civilizations were even recorded, but to heal past energies and to release that. And what is it that we want to take forward? That is incredible.
Yes,
That
and your
find it.
experience with the root chakra, for your experience, what is that? What
It was at
Mount?
Mount. So
That's
I was at, there was a team that was just there this past week at Mount Shasta. I was a buddy for somebody who was on that team, um, and and the clearing and the healing for our earth, which is in dire need of healing. It is a living, breathing spirit. Our waters, our woods, our lands, our rocks, they're all infused with spirit and they are living and breathing and needing our love, needing our gratitude, needing our healing, needing our self-awareness for this new earth that is being birthed.
and we're all needed. We're all part
All
of the
hands on deck. Everyone's needed, everyone's recruited, but everyone has a role to play. And each of you out there, each of you has a precious gift. You are precious yourself. You bring a precious gift, and together, collectively, we are here to heal our world.
certainly to raise the vibration and to anchor in the power of love, to use your talents to serve, no matter what they are. No talent is more important than the other. That we can each day we can do things that uplift ourselves and uplift others. And I just love for you, Berit. You always talk about. I think your guides and people who come into your realm share how, gosh, you don't know how much light you're sharing, putting out in the world, and it's like you may not even realize it because I think sometimes we're not even aware. We just take it for granted that okay, nobody's paying attention, but you always talk about how those on the angelic realm share how, wow, one act can be so powerful.
Mhm.
Uh,
It has such a ripple effect. And Beth, who's now on the other side, is sharing so much that, one of her comments after 2 days after she passed was, she said, "Oh my gosh, everything that we thought is even more," meaning that each of us with our thoughts, with our words and our actions, but with our energy, because our energy, we are energy. But with our energy has a profound effect beyond what we can even imagine. So to be mindful of our words, to be mindful of our thoughts, where are we putting our attention? We always say where we put our attention, our energy goes. Literally, our energy follows that.
and Barrett, it's amazing how ancient cultures really had they had an understanding of energy.
Mhm.
We're kind of coming into that, but
Mhm.
they everything was centered around energy. And they really, acknowledge that. And, it's written in the hieroglyphic, stories in Egypt, and I'm sure, ancient temples around the world, how they revere energy and the elements of air, wind, fire, water. They really acknowledged and honored that. And so energy is everything, and we're all energy. We're all, as we say, spiritual beings having that human experience. Many people talk about that, but we are beings of energy, and we vibrate, and most importantly, we attract who we are, right? Those experiences, the people, the situations, we attract who we are.
We attract and we create. We're creators.
Yes.
So true, Jean. And to keep that highest vision, to step back and see the bigger picture. There's a divine plan out there, and we can get kind of caught up in the day to day, and just to when we get kind of anxious, just to take a deep breath, step back, all is well. If there in the bigger, there's a bigger picture, but to hold the light, hold the love, hold that highest vision. And there's a power to all of us, each of us here on earth, to hold that image, to hold that vision, because we are creating what we are seeing. We are creating what we are envisioning. We are creating what we are empowering with our thoughts and our energies. And it is so, and it can be so. And it creates the possibilities, and it creates the joy and the wonder. I mean, there's of all that can be, all the things that we desire that are the highest can be. And to be mindful, but to know also what is it for the highest good of all. This old free will, which is what was yes, we have free will, and they're not going to trespass is the word I'm hearing against that, but it's not necessarily what's good for me in my free will. What do we think is good for the all? And that is this new mindset, that is this new consciousness that is being reawakened and rebirthed, for for what will unfold, for our eternal spirits.
And I think, Berit, for listeners, be aware of how you're using your energy, what you're focusing on. Uh, release any negative emotions of worry, anger, jealousy, fear. Of course, fear is in the collective of all of those, worry, anxiety, because that is draining. And in order to be free to be who you truly are, we have to let that go and release it. This too shall pass. And, things will be made new. Don't hold on to things that don't serve you. Don't hold on to negative emotions and past regrets and things of that nature. Look forward to the present. Stay on the path of higher ground, because really life is short. Use your gifts and talents each day. Live in the spirit of love, anchor in love. For me, the litmus test is how I feel. And that speaks to me. It's like if I'm out of sorts, it's like, gosh, I'm feeling out of sorts. Something's wrong here. And I try to collect myself and look at, okay, what's going on? Let me reflect on what's happening here, because I don't want, and even though I know we talk about being attuned to our emotions, that we have to face our emotions and face our feelings, but we don't have to stay stuck there in terms of the negativity, right? It's important to, learn from our experiences, to grow, to know that everything that happens for us or where we are, we're in our right place, and everything is happening to move us forward. And some people may say, gosh, I don't understand that because I'm not in a good place right now. But we're in that place to grow, right? We're in that place to expand. And, we have to be open to, okay, why am I here? What are the lessons? But let me be gentle with myself so
Mm-hmm.
that I can get through this
Mm-hmm.
one moment, one step at a time.
And to know again from your soul level, all is well. From your soul is eternal. Your soul can never be dented or tarnished or extinguished. Your soul is eternal. It has been here many times and comes again. And you have a different form you take, but your soul is eternal. And I love what you shared about feelings. Feelings and emotions are different, but feelings are the language of the soul. So when you're in touch with your feelings and you're honoring truly how you're feeling, when you're maybe not feeling great, well, you honor that. You don't just say, "Oh, I shouldn't feel that way." You honor that because it helps to meet you where you're at and help you to realign yourself back to this unconditionally loving flow from the universe. And it speaks to being aware and to know that we're drawing to us, each of us, different experiences. Who are we? What is our highest expression of ourself? What is our highest thought of who we are? That is what we're moving towards. That is what we're seeking from a soul level. And we draw to us different people and play in experiences and situations in which for us to have the opportunity to respond, and not react, but to respond in how we are, who we are. When we respond, it is a projection of this is who I am. And that goes back again to what you shared earlier about really giving voice and being that expression.
And one other thing, I love what you said about feeling is the language of the soul. And as I reflect on Egypt and other experiences, it's like uh, I found the people to be very intuitive. People will walk up to me and they say, "You'd have a good heart," you know.
Mhm.
And it's like this. And even for those who could not speak the language, it was a connection.
Mhm. Mhm.
You felt that heart connection.
Mhm.
And so language is really, about the soul and the heart, not
Mhm.
necessarily not necessarily the language or communication itself. It's something that you feel within. And I had that experience many times in Egypt where people would come up to me and, say you have a good heart or say
Mhm.
something positive. And I'm like, okay, they really feel who I am. They approach me with more of a feeling rather than just a language of just communication and dialogue. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
And isn't that true? Because feelings, I mean, it is the universal language, right? You can speak different dialects or different languages, but your feelings it can be communicated. And when Jean and I speak with people on the other side and these unseen, it's telepathy. I mean, it's a thought that goes into a thought, whether English or German or Arabic or whatever the language, it doesn't need language because it just comes through, and we're connecting really soul to soul. We're connecting to that spirit and they're communicating and we're, having these conversations. And that is when you go to what they share on the other side. When they go to the other side, it's all just, it's like telepathy, right? It's just a thought gets transferred to a thought in its purest form, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, and isn't that true a testament to we are all one? It doesn't matter what culture you're in and what age and anything and gender and so forth, that we are all one. And you can feel that common heart um, when you're meeting others that you don't speak the language, but you feel that connection, you feel that heart warmth.
And I think, Barrett, it's so important for us to keep an open heart because so frequently, we get shut down. I was shut down years ago and didn't even realize I was shut down. But, it's so important to keep our hearts open because
Mhm.
when we keep our hearts open, we feel that joy, we're more passionate, we connect better. You're not looking at life with, tunnel vision. You open yourself up to the broader vision and a new perspective of life. So for listeners out there, keep an open heart. Don't let life experiences tarnish you or keep you in low vibration. That does not serve you. Anchor in love. Do things every day to make yourself feel good, right? The small things that you do. And sometimes when we're not perhaps in a bad mood or whatever, reach out and do something good for others or give a compliment, do something nice. That's kind of creating that positive ripple. And Barry, yourself, that changes your mood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
to be
they always share that what you're seeking, you give away what you're looking for because
yeah,
it's like a boomerang. You give something away and it comes back really tenfold, right? But it's like a boomerang. But what you give away does come back. So another
yes.
mindfulness about, what are you giving away, right?
That's so important because we want to receive, right? We want to give, we want to receive. We have to, have that balance in giving and receiving. But, we have to be aware of what we're giving out, what we're putting out, the energy that we're projecting because we get it back. And
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't want to feel good or
Mm-hmm.
receive something good? So
Mm-hmm.
be aware of how you're thinking, how you're feeling, what you're putting out there, because that creates a ripple in itself, right? But we want to create a positive ripple effect for positive change as we, be the highest version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And isn't that what really transforms the world?
Indeed, indeed.
Well, this has been an absolutely delightful, marvelous chat, Jean. Thank you for all you shared. Thank you for giving us a glimpse and taking us journey home to Egypt, for sharing a glimpse into a past life of yours that will continue to reveal itself and unfold in however it's meant to for this life, because we bring forward the pieces that or the gifts or the insight and wisdom of our past lives to each of us for how does that affect and how does that inform for what we are doing in this life. So thank you so much. Any other parting words or a phrase from Egypt that you want to share?
It's all about love.
Mm.
And I'd say thank you, Barrett, for all that you do, because you have helped me put the pieces together. And I am truly grateful to you and your team for all the good service that you do for the Soul Talk, for the books that you've written, you and Beth, and for the connection to all that is, because you have soul talks with the trees, the rocks, the birds. And I really am truly grateful to you for all that you do and your team.
Mm. And our love to all of you out there. You are not alone. You have so much love around you. If you don't feel it, you reach out to Jean and me, and we can help get you connected. But you are already connected. You just need to remember, and as Jean said, to give yourself love, to be gentle, to self-care, all of that, because it will put you in to that vibration. And really, that is your essence. You are love. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon.